Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
ID theft is an extremely serious topic. It happens more often than I think you realize. And there's no foolproof way of protecting yourself. You can do your best. But, ultimately, if you're alive and you're doing things out there in the world, you're running a risk. Life is a series of calculated risks. So make sure the odds are stacked in your favor. I've got a top 5 list from David Daniel from TechLiveNow.com. He's aka Arcane. He says, "Hello, Chris. I've come up with a guide to help prevent identity theft. With the never-ending technological advances, there are so many more ways people can take over your personal information or find ways to obtain it. So, 5 things you can do. Number 1, shred your papers. There's nothing like receiving a bill, taking a look at it, and saying to yourself, I'll pay this bill online because it's easier and faster. Many times people receive snail mail bills and don't think anything of it and just toss it in the trash. Same goes for receiving credit card statements as well. And my wife has even taken to ripping off the address part of catalogs and magazines. Getting a good shredder is a good idea. Number 2, get an antivirus and anti-spyware program. Referring back to tip 1, many people just pay their bills online now. There are tons of phishing websites you can come across just browsing the internet. If you're unprotected, anything you type in could be compromised. Be extra careful, especially if you do online banking or purchase products on the internet often. So just a couple of sub-tips here. 1, start using OpenDNS. It's free, nothing to install. OpenDNS.com, read about it. I've mentioned it before. I fully endorse it. If I could, work, for an internet company, that would be one of the ones in my top 10 because I totally believe in the product and what they're doing. They can help you protect your entire home network from phishing websites. And 2, if you're using a public access point, don't go to any website sharing information without going to HTTPS and then the website. Don't check your banking records. I wouldn't even check your email on a public access point. There are ways to do it completely secure with Gmail, but even so, there are people now at the South by Southwest conference who are just going nuts. They're saying, I'm on the hotel's network and I'm seeing everybody's files. People forgot to turn off their file sharing. So if you're going out and about, shut all the sharing off. Don't share anything. Turn off any and all sharing when you're at home. It's a little more secure. When you're out and about, turn it off. Don't forget it. You never know, man. It's not even, you don't even need antivirus, anti-spyware at that point. You just need to be smart. And if you didn't know, well, now you know, so you got no excuse. No excuse. Turn off sharing. Don't go through anything other than through a secure connection to the website you're going to. If you're on a public connection or a connection that you do not fully control. And don't check, accounts if you don't need to when you're on the road. Number 3, don't sign the back of your credit cards. Now, this is kind of in question, although I've taken the same tactic. This may be strange at first, but there's a point to it. If you sign the back of your credit card, most places don't check for IDs anymore. They do, however, look at the back of the card. If your card was ever to get stolen or lost, they will be asked to see an ID instead of a simple signature. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I have been signing my credit cards with please check photo ID. Photo ID. And some people apologize. They look at it and said, excuse me, can I see, your ID? I was like, they're kind of, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, what do you, I'm the one who signed the card that way. I want you to check it. I am actually more upset with a cashier if they do not check my ID. I am. I get upset. It's like, aren't you going to check my ID? You just don't know anymore. You just don't know. I mean, I think, more than computers compromising security, I think people compromise security even more. You got to be smarter than the technology you're trusting. Number 4, keep your social security number secure. Believe it or not, many people walk around every day with their social security card in their wallet or purse. The only time you should ever need this is if you're trying to get hired for a new job or signing up for some type of account. Keep it in a fireproof box in your home until needed. Number 5, digital shredding. Getting rid of a computer or selling it. There's very important data on your hard drive. Never give anyone a hard drive from a previous computer unless using a digital shredder. Unless using it before using a digital. I think there's a typo there. I think he's saying use a digital shredder, and I've got a recommendation. Let me finish this here. Even then, it may be easy to recover personal information. It's best to keep the drive to yourself or destroy it. If you need a free program to wipe your hard drive clean or more information on the topic, there's a few websites out there. My recommendation is Derek's Boot and Nuke, which I've demonstrated before, DBAN, Derek's Boot and Nuke. Run that. Or, as what's going to be happening likely with future computer giveaways that we do, I'm just going to take the hard drive out. You're going to have to put in your own hard drive and operating system and whatnot. Everything else will come with it. Running a DBAN, basically nuking the entire hard drive, is pretty foolproof. I mean, I do like a 7-time wipe, and I'm usually good. On Mac OS X, you can do something called, I believe it's Secure Delete. It's not Secure Delete, it's Secure... What do they call it? Is it Secure Delete or Secure Erase in OS X? And then there's a free utility for Windows called Eraser? Eraser? Is that the name of it? It's free. Eraser is just the name. Just do Eraser, Windows, freeware, and that should come up. And that will make sure... There we go. Secure Empty Trash will do it. In Mac OS X, they've actually built in a secure way of deleting those files. I think people are the weak point. People are not to be trusted. And so even though we can give you as many digital tips for preventing identity theft, I mean, ultimately it's going to boil down to you and the people you entrust your information with. I've detailed this before. I'm sure it's going to come up as a related link. Some just absolutely nightmarish stories of listening to people just give over their identity without even realizing what they were doing, or maybe they did and they just didn't care. Like a lot of these people who download junk on the internet and get infected with viruses, they just don't care. They're like, it's fine, I can listen to my own music, I can watch my movies, I can do all this stuff. I'm like, oh man, I got all my software for free. Who cares? I get a couple of viruses, no big deal. People, I implore you. It's not the computer. It's not the computer. Software has to get better. Oh, I'd be careful about LifeLock. I've heard some weird things, some odd background about the founder of that. You might want to do your research. Trust nobody. Don't even trust the companies that say that you can trust them. They're the people you should trust least. Thank you, David. I almost called you Daniel, but that seems to be your last name. TechLiveNow.com is where he happens to be. I appreciate this top 5 list, if only because it gave us a discussion point. Anybody else got any tips, tricks, ideas, thoughts to pass along to people who are less tech savvy, things they got to watch out for? I could go on and on and on and on and on and still not cover it all. So I do like bringing up the topic every once in a while. What about LimeWire downloads? I'll get into P2P at a future date. Suffice it to say, I don't think you need LimeWire. LimeWire is it's an unnecessary piece of software, beyond unnecessary. And you know who I blame for a lot of the piracy today, like digital media piracy? I blame the music industry and the media companies because of DRM. I blame them for a lot of the problems that P2P has brought about. 3 top downloads on download.com. The first 2 are antivirus and anti-spyware apps. The third one is LimeWire. The first 2 apps are downloaded to try, because the users think they're protecting themselves by opening themselves up. I mean, that's when you download some software that compromises everything. I mean, you're rolling the dice. And worse yet, you try to download pirated software to protect you. I mean, just don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. My email address is chris@pirillo.com. I do my best to practice safe computing. Hopefully you do too. If you've ever been a victim of identity theft, I'd love to hear your story, possibly share it back with the rest of the community, if only so they could learn more lessons. You're also welcome to swing by the chat room. And we're typically talking tech throughout the day, 24 hours a day, as a matter of fact, with or without Apple logos, as people are now prone to throwing into the chat stream. I kept it unmoderated for the duration of this video, and I think people have been doing okay. So anyway, you're welcome to join us. We're waiting for you, so what are you waiting for? We're at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.